Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. Again with the turkey. I apologize, but he is right there. There are so many things that I need to do right now to get ready to plant for the spring garden. And so that is what I'm going to do today, is just prep everything, add some compost to some of my other raised beds, clear out some of the stuff that's in the other garden. But one of the main things that I want to do today is dealing with these garden beds that Adam and I built. And the problem with these is I've been coming in here and just sort of watering the compost to drain out any extra salts or anything like that that may still be in there. But what I started to notice is that the top is really crusty and hard, and I just don't like that. So the plan is that I'm going to get in here with some perlite and some peat moss. Now I have this peat moss that I've had. It's been, I don't know, about a year or so now. And I figured now is as good a time as any to use up what I have. So I'm going to blend the perlite and the peat moss. I am going to fork these beds to loosen and fluff up the soil and the compost. And then I'm going to mix the perlite and the peat moss into these beds to kind of fluff it up a little bit, I guess, because the last thing I want is for these beds to become anaerobic. Now, anaerobic basically is when the soil is so compact that it doesn't drain. It just retains all that water and it just sits in water, so there's a lack of oxygen, and I don't want that. So let's start this project. After I'm done with that, though, I'm going to head over to the other garden bed and we are going to prep that garden. So right here I just have my tub that I'm going to just mix these two things into, and then we'll get to turning the beds. Now I did this bed yesterday doing this, and it was relatively easy, but it's definitely something that needs to be done because the soil just looks much better. The compost, I keep saying soil. All right, now that that is done, I am going to work this bed over here. So I'm just gonna start by coming in here and just sort of turning the bed like so. Just loosening up that soil a little bit. All right, now that that is done, I'm basically just going to keep doing the same thing while I'm adding in this container of perlite and peat moss. Much better. Now that that one's done, I'm just gonna hustle up and get this one done, and I'll show you what they all look like when they're complete. All right, now that I got all three of these beds done, let's just take a peek at what they look like. I'm really happy and glad that I went ahead and did this because I think in the long run, it's gonna be really good. The soil feels nice and it's ready to have plants put in it. So this is one of the boxes. This is the last box that I did. And this is the first box that I did yesterday. I'm ready for spring. So now I'm gonna head over to the other garden and get that one prepped as well. These two beds behind me are the two beds that I'm gonna focus on for now. Unfortunately, you know, I really wanted to eat cabbage, and had I made the foods that would incorporate cabbage, like fish tacos, I definitely would have come out here to grab one of these heads, but they've just been out here too long. So going into this next growing season, I am going to be very aware and intentional. I'm going to try to be intentional about what I'm growing, because I have plans for the bounty that I'm hoping to get this spring, summer. So I'm gonna just clear out this bed. 100% is just gonna get cleared out. That bed over there, the cabbages are gonna get cleared out, but the onions, I'm gonna leave those, even though I don't necessarily have to, because I have onions growing everywhere else in this garden. But I'm gonna focus on these two, and I'm gonna do what I did to the other beds in here to these beds. I don't think it's necessary because there is soil, and just adding a top dressing of compost should be good enough. But I'm gonna go ahead and add the perlite and the peat moss into the compost. All this will not go to waste though. It will go to the chickens and the turkeys, and they will enjoy it. So I have, this is just left over from when I was doing those other planter boxes. So I'm just gonna add the compost directly to this. This bed right here, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it right now. I am holding out hope that I will actually be able to get these beets and radishes to grow here. But I think something is just coming through and nibbling at them. So I don't know how much success I will have with this particular garden bed. So I don't know, that's a maybe for today. But that one back there, I'm gonna start with. And I'm just going to pull the whole entire thing out. But first I'm gonna remove the drip system that I have in here. I don't know, this one is definitely out of here. And I'm just gonna scrape the roots so that the dirt comes out of there. So that'll definitely go to the chickens. This I could just leave in there if I wanted to. I'm gonna pull any weeds that are in here. Maybe I'll make fish tacos tonight for dinner and use one of these cabbages. This one's gotta go. I'm trying to be very careful because there are a lot of worms in here and I don't want to hurt them. Like there's one there. So no matter what, all of these are coming out. I'm just gonna separate which ones I'm keeping and which ones I'm not keeping. Like this one right here will go in the maybe pile. I'm gonna take a peek at it. It looks pretty good besides the fact that it's quite dirty now, but nothing a little water can't help. So that'll go over there. And now I'm just gonna go in and fill up the bed to the top of the box with fresh compost, and she'll be ready to go. All right, this bed shouldn't be too hard. There's only a couple of plants in here that I'm pulling, and then it'll be ready. All right, so since I am not going to be doing anything quite yet with this bed because these onions are in here, I am going to come in here and do what is called, I believe it's called spooning. And onions need room to bulb. So I'm just going to come in here and just kind of release some of the soil from around where the onion will bulb so that it has room to grow. You don't want to go too deep though, because the roots are just, that thing scared me. The roots are just right at the surface where the bulb forms. And basically what that looks like is just coming in here, going around the bulb, and just moving the dirt out of the way, but leaving the roots in the ground. So something kind of like that. So I've decided I'm going to go ahead and prep that bed over there. There's just no reason for me to hold out any longer, hoping that something's going to actually come from that bed in the next 2 months. So I'm going to get this bed prepped and we should be good for now. The other beds have onions in them, and then that bed has celery in there, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to at least make one thing with that celery, which is really exciting. I've never grown celery, so it looks like celery, which is cool. I think whatever mouse was going into my greenhouse is also what's coming out here and snacking on these plants, because I'm finding little chewed seeds out here in this bed, and there's no reason for these seeds to be in this bed. So, but I did, I think, fingers crossed, handle the problem within the greenhouse. So, all right, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to take a peek at these cabbages. This was one of the ones that I was going to keep, but I have since changed my mind because the underside of it was pretty chewed up, and well, no thank you. So that will go to the chickens. This one looks pretty good. I'm not seeing any real bug damage. I mean, there is a pincher bug right there, but... So I will give this one a shot. This would actually be a good candidate for fish tacos because it's a small head. So that one I will clean up. And then this one, also, just besides the fact that it's dirty from me getting in there, looks pretty clean as well as far as bug damage is concerned. So that's a good one as well. I'm gonna go give these to the chickens. But if you stuck around this long, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. And I'm gonna go stick a bean in the other raised beds just to see if it sprouts. It's not gonna stay there. It's just a little experiment that I am doing for myself. So come with me while I just go push a bean into the soil and take the cabbages to the chickens. Of course, the GoPro shut down again, but I was gonna say that something has been in here eating my turkey eggs. My girls have been laying, and they had about 10 or 11 eggs in there, And I started coming in here and slowly seeing shells on the ground. So I did put a game cam in the coop to catch whoever's doing it or whatever is doing it. But as you can tell, they love the cabbage. Let's go plant that bean. So I just grabbed my whole entire thing of beans, and I'm just gonna plant one in here. In each one, I'm gonna do one in each one of these just to sort of see what happens. So this is a Kentucky pole bean. I'm just going to plop it in and cover it up. I think I'm gonna do a different one in each one. So Kentucky pole bean, Blue Lake, and I'll do a rattlesnake. Now I just have to remember to come out here and water those. I just love the way fresh beds look when you are prepping them for the spring garden. There's just something that feels good about it, I guess, and just knowing that these are going to soon be filled with lots of things is super exciting to me. So yeah, I can't wait to take you along for that part of the journey. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and sticking around to watch this video. I hope that it inspires you to get out there and grow a garden of your own. And as always, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.